Hello, good morning. I am here with my early hominids video. I do have some notes, so forgive me if I am looking over here a lot. But we're going to start with my subject, which is going to be the Orin, I would say, Tugenesis, meaning original man in the Tugen language. So for the first question, it's going to be, where was the fossil or fragments of the species found? And it was mainly found in East Africa, in the Tugen Hills, Kenya's Lake Turkana. It was found near Lukino in Kenya, I believe. It was found in 2001. The fossil and fragments that were found had more to do with the femur, a mandible, I believe, with some teeth, and it was over 20 fossils that were found for this particular species. And for the second one, it says, are any of the fossils from this species famous or well known? And I would say not particularly, because it's my first time hearing about it, but I've heard of Lucy before because it was a major find. But for this one, I would say the only particular fossils that were found were important, but they weren't famous, which was the upper femur. It helped scientists note that the Orin was able to walk upright with both legs on the ground, but they were also still able to climb trees. For the next question, who found the fossil and how old was the fossil dated to be? The discoverers were Bridget Sinute and Martin Pickford, and it was dated around 6 million years old, 6 MYA. So it was also discovered in 2001. They wrote many papers about this as well. And for the next set of questions, what is the estimated brain size? Unfortunately, they don't have an estimated cranial capacity for Orin at this time, but they're still learning very much about it. They were still the size of chimpanzees, though, so that helps somewhat, and they're suggested by their fossils that were discovered to be the size of chimpanzees. They're still learning a lot about it, so as the time progresses and research continues, the more they'll be able to know about this particular species. And what does the anatomy of the hominid suggest about the style of locomotion, and what anatomical features on the fossil indicator suggest a particular style of locomotion? Would say the anatomy of the species suggests that their locomotion is very close to Homo sapiens, or it had early bipedalism. The features that help indicate the style of locomotion were the shaft of the femur being anteriorly convex, meaning the shaft meaning it will slide in the same direction as the bone's movement, and also the size of the teeth shared commonly with early homos, making them very closely related to early humans, human ancestors, I should say, and proves that they branched off from chimps, but there is no correlation between that right now. They're still trying to figure out where that happened, where humans and chimps separated and went and did their own thing, basically. But they still need more evidence of definite upright positioning for walking. They have yet to find that. And for the next question, what do scientists believe the diet of this hominid might have been, and how might this information tell us something about the environment in which they lived? So they were believed to be living in the forest and not in the desert, and still chose to live in the trees, as suggested by their anatomy. So their diet consisted of plant-based foods, including seeds, roots, and insects. This is believed to be what they ate based on the size of their molars and canine teeth. And also, just to touch base really quickly, I'm going to go over 5 minutes, but during my reading and research online for this species, there were a couple of sites that mentioned a set of footprints as fossil fossils found, indicating that there is an ancestor that was also in southern Europe. It was found in Trachylos, Crete, Greece. The time is being told to be in the Miocene era, which is 5.7 MYA. During this discovery, it showed that hominids could have migrated, from my understanding. Yet scientists who did discover it would like the conversation to continue regarding this interesting finding, and believes it opens up the questions about Africa truly being the cradle of humanity. These tracks, 29 of them in total, still do not predate the oldest fossils found in Africa. So by my readings, and I did take this down as notes because I thought it was important to mention, it just proves that hominids more than likely migrated long ago, and they were able to branch off and obviously wander off elsewhere, because obviously during this time, all of the countries are still connected, as we know, being Pangea. This is something that is known, but to say it widens the parameters within the cradle of humanity is a bit premature to assume. And I'm no scientist, but my common sense does tell me that our early ancestors just migrated to other parts of the world as early as the footprints and fossils found are dated. So that's what I came up with during this reading, and that's what I found out. And I thought it was interesting conversation to have regarding why this even is. I mean, it's important, but it's like still the oldest fossils found were in Africa, so that means the cradle of humanity is still in Africa, but it also means that there was some migration, which we already know. So I think it's important to continue the conversation, but I don't think it's necessary at this time. But I think it'll help understand a lot more about our ancestors long time ago. And that is going to conclude my video. Thank you.